I have recently really started to like Reverend guitars. I demoed that one not too long ago. It's the Reverend Jetstream 290 with a Bigsby, and I thought it was freaking awesome. I'm a guy that loves offset guitars, and I felt really at home with that, but it gave me different things that I wouldn't necessarily get out of, say, a Jaguar, a Mustang, or a Jazzmaster. So I ended up going to Reverend's website, browsing around, looking for something a little bit similar, perhaps maybe a little bit more colorful, and I found this guy. This is the Rick Vito signature, and it's like his Ford signature, I think, if I remember reading correctly. He's had quite a few with the brand, but this one looks like it's going to check a lot of boxes for me, and it's not something I see a lot of people talk about. So we're going to be checking this thing out today. I'll be giving you my thoughts and my impressions, especially compared to the Jetstream 290 that has a Bigsby on it, because they have some things in common, but some things fundamentally very, very different. And no, it's not just the pickups. If you're familiar with Reverend guitars at all, you'll recognize this body shape. It's the same one you're going to find on guitars like the Double Agent, the Jetstream 290 that we were just talking about, and even models like the Descent, amongst others. And it's my favorite one because I love offset guitars. It balances really well, and it's pretty lightweight despite the fact that it has a Bigsby on it. This one weighs in 7 pounds and 11 ounces, but I've seen ones of this model in particular 6 pounds 11 ounces. How the hell did they do that? Well, there's actually a method to madness, because while this one is also made of Carina, not too dissimilar from the Jetstream 290 that's over there to my left, this one has a heavily chambered body, so it has a little bit less weight in it, and the top of it is made of spruce, which is a little bit different, but brings out a little bit of attack, a little bit of liveliness into the character. Now, I gotta tip my hat to Reverend here, because the way they did the electronics on this guitar was super clever, and they're more than meets the eye. First glance, I figure this is just a classic rock machine. You got a P90 in the neck and a humbucker in the bridge, but not just any humbucker. A humbucker that has 6 racing flags over each individual pole piece, really filling out the 1950 design to go along with the checkered binding. I love it. Just so 1950s. But functionally here, you can actually get short scale Fender tones out of this, which is going to sound a little bit weird considering the pickups that are in this guitar, but the way they achieve that is via secondary controls of the volume and the tone control. On the volume, you pull it up, it acts as a bass cut, so you're moving low end. Super useful. If things are a little bit too boomy with drive on, you want to clean up a little bit by removing a little bit of the low end, a little bit of the mud. Does an awesome job. You're going to hear that momentarily in the sound demonstrations. And then additionally, when you're in the middle position, you pull up on the tone control, and these two pickups go out of phase with one another. When you have both of these pulled up, it's just like a Fender Mustang, which is wild to me, because again, P90 in the neck, humbucker in the bridge, and while this guitar isn't trying to be a Fender short scale offset, the fact that you can get those sorts of sounds with these pickups is just super, super useful. The guitar has a roasted maple neck with an ebony fingerboard, medium-sized frets with a 12-inch radius, 25.5-inch scale length, and a 43mm nut. Last but not least, at the headstock, you do have a painted black headstock, you do have your Reverend kind of roller string tree going on, and you have 6 pinwheel locking tuners. For today's sound demonstration, we're going to be using the Dr. ZZ Plus. We're going to mic it up with the Shure SM57 and the Warm Audio Fentone ribbon microphone. We're only going to be using one pedal, and that is going to be the brand amplification Protein. don't have much to add with the sound examples. I feel like they spoke for themselves. This thing can go from super, super aggressive, thanks to the humbucker and the bridge, to really, really funky, clean tones. And it's just an awesome, awesome instrument. It is a great guitar to play. And I'm really happy that I'm playing these guitars now, because one thing that I've noticed, and maybe I'm just been super lucky with these two, but the way that they feel is almost identical, not just in the neck shape, but the actual fretwork is fantastic. The nut was cut perfectly on both guitars. The setup out of the box was really good, and I think a lot of the reason for that is because not everybody who does these import guitars, because this guitar is made in Korea, but this actually gets personally set up in Ohio in their main kind of warehouse thing, and they make sure that all the little details are done right, so that when you take the guitar out of the box, it is ready to play, and you're not going to go and have to take it to a tech to make sure that everything's smoothed out, to make sure that the frets are level, and to make sure the nuts cut right, because these things, especially with guitars that have a vibrato on them, are vital. They're absolutely vital, otherwise you're going to have a nightmare keeping the thing in tune. And I'm just really appreciative of that, because not everybody goes that extra mile, and this brand certainly does. With that being said, though, there is one small change I would want to make on this guitar, but it's a simple thing. It wouldn't cost a whole ton of money. It would take all of 15 minutes once the strings are off. I would replace these push-pulls with push-push knobs. It's just so much easier. And when I was doing the one specific demonstration and I was demoing the bass cut for you guys, I didn't have a whole lot of time, because that piece is kind of a little bit more syncopated and stuff like that. I didn't have a big rest to make sure that I was able to just go pop on, pop off. If I had a push-push, it'd be super easy. But with the push-pull, what I was finding myself doing, and I had to do that take several times, because I was accidentally rolling the volume control off a little bit, because it's just, you know, the push-pull mechanism. But I know some people like that. Perhaps it's a little bit more reliable than a push-push, but outside of that, I have nothing negative to say about this guitar. It plays fantastic, sounds fantastic, and it looks fantastic. What more can you ask for? For more information, head on over to Reverend Guitars. Go tell them your buddy Jim said hi. Thank you for watching today's video, and a special thank you to all the members and the Patreons who support this channel and make videos like this possible. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Take it easy.